On the West Coast, we know it's late afternoon for you, and for those who might be joining us from the home continent and the home country, well, it's pretty late for you. But we want to thank everybody for coming. Today is going to be an exciting day. We'll be learning about the Nigerian Center, the work that the center does. Today's meeting will be in maybe 3 parts. So the first part is going to be basically just learning about the Nigerian Center, the work that the center does. And then the second part will be an overview of the remarkable things that the center has actually already done. And the third part is where we're going to be spending some time talking about the support needs of the center. So how do we get involved? What does the center need from us in order for it to continue to function in the way that it is and to grow in the way that Gbenga Ogunjimi, the center's director, would be talking to us about today. So my name is Malcolm Fabiyi. I'm a member of the board of the Nigerian Center. It's a great privilege to be involved with the center. I've been in the US for well over 2 decades now, and I know that the work that the Nigerian Center does today is something that I'd always wished was available, when I came to the US as a young immigrant, over 2 decades ago. But the center is here now, and we will spend, again, the next 1.5 hours just learning about the work of the center. And I want to invite Gbenga Ogunjimi, the executive director of the Nigerian Center, to come up and tell us over the next hour or so about the incredible work that they're doing, and an introduction to the work of the center, some of the members of the board, and some of the activities that the center is involved in. So Gbenga, over to you.
Yes, sir. And thank you, every one of you, for coming out this evening. We know you hold us in a high esteem regard. For you to give a precious time of your Sunday evening to honor our invitation, we are very thankful for that. So in terms of an outlook of what we're going to be talking about today, general introductions, and then we will do a review and strategy updates for 2023 and 2024 going onward. We'll talk about opportunities to get involved, and then we would open it up for interaction, for comments, for your insight, for your advice, for your recommendations for the center. But before we proceed, I want to yield to another board member of ours, which is Dr. Toyin Okpesanmi, to also give us a welcome remarks and just kind of talk about our involvement with the center, why she said yes to the invitation of the center to serve on the board, and what is our charge for every one of us just kind of sitting on the side, just anticipating to hear more about the Nigerian Center work and what she's going to have for them. So Dr. O, if you would please come onto the microphone.
Commissioner O, Commissioner Okpesanmi.
Okay, corrected. Commissioner Dr. Okpesanmi.
Oh my gosh, that's my sister. So pardon me, everyone. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for taking your time this Sunday to join us. My sister, we just spoke. We met with Gbenga together, and we're excited about the prospect of having a Nigerian Center. This was, I think, 2.5 years ago. And so I was just excited that we never had something like this to, help our people in various ways. I had no idea that we would accomplish as much as had been accomplished in that short period of time. So from the onset, I was right on board for us to, have this Nigerian Center. And I thank God for the young man, Gbenga Ogunjimi, who the Lord used, who came into this country less than 10 years and, agreed to take the mantle to open this center, to bless all Nigerians and even non-Nigerians, because we've sent non-Nigerians to the center and they are treated the same way. So Gbenga, thank you so much for answering the call, and thank you for all you do day in, day out. So as far as I'm concerned, I've been here way longer than Dr. Fabiyi. I've been here for 40 years, believe it or not. And I'm just so excited to be part of this, to be on the board and to be able to give my services and as much as the Lord allows me to give, to be able to meet the needs of our people. It's amazing what Nigerian Center is doing and what it will continue to do. And I hope that all of it is captured. But trust me, if all of it is not captured, I will chime in and make sure that, we're reminded of things that the center is doing. But before I hand over back to Dr. Fabiyi, I want to say that in the first year the center was started, it was started in February, 2.5 years ago. The mayor of DC declared October 1st Nigeria Day, which is a feat that had not been accomplished before. And the mayor did that because of the work of Mr. Gbenga Ogunjimi. So I'll conclude with that for now. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. O. It's such an honor and a privilege as well to have you on the leadership of the Nigerian Center. So I want to go through a quick timeline of the Nigerian Center trajectory. I want to please plead in advance that the initial slides might be a little bit text heavy. It is important that we get across the work that is being done. So it's going to get more exciting as we go. So thanks for the patience. So as Dr. Twin mentioned, we began February. We opened the doors first virtually in February 2022. And that was in response to the growing need of the Nigerian American community lacking a dedicated community center to advance its interest. And quickly we realized that same issue is not just peculiar to Nigeria, but several African countries are missing the infrastructure of a community center. And when we think about prosperity and achieving the American dream, and we look at how other communities are able to, in a single generation, transform their financial identity and community standing in the country, what we found missing in our community was we don't have a community center. And other communities, whether they're Chinese, Ethiopians, Irish, Indians, there's this community center they can always turn to. And that is why we started. October of that same year, the mayor declared October 1st, Nigerian American Day. And that is our road to market, where we launch our legal program as well as our cultural program, located in the nation's capital, but serving the rest of the country. Shortly after that, we opened our walk-in immigration clinic that anyone from our community. So think about 40 years ago when Dr. Tony arrived in the United States, or 20 years ago plus when Dr. Malcolm arrived in the United States, or 10 years ago when I arrived in the United States. If there was a center we can walk into, we didn't have that now, but we do have that today with the walk-in center that we have. And those that are not located in the nation's capital, they can also get the same services virtually across the country. Our asset building program is called Path to Prosperity, and that includes financial services, tax services, credit building, micro lending, to provide capital for folks to be able to advance, whether it is self-employment opportunities, even employment workforce development opportunities. And as we know, in immigrant communities, for the most part, entrepreneurship, hold on one second. I just want to thank everyone for muting your lines. Thank you so much for doing that.
And Benga, if you don't mind coming into view on your video.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even know that. Thank you for bringing my attention to that. Okay, give me one second. But I do just that. And while I do that, I'm going to ask and thank everyone again that is not yet muted their lines. If we can please mute our lines, that would be wonderful. Okay, excellent. Can you see me now, Dr. Markham?
Yes, that's great.
I was saying for a lot of folks in our community, entrepreneurship, for the most part, for a lot of people, is the only survival strategy that they have. And that initial capital that they require is often not available, but now it's not available at the Nigerian Center. And I'm going to go deeper into this program very shortly. Quickly, we realized that everything we've done up until asset building, item number 4, in my line of work, we consider that as direct service. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we think for us to actually make a more profound impact, we have to start aspiring and aiming towards systemic impact. And systemic impact allows us to do so through policy and advocacy. So we establish a policy department, and whether it's at the federal level, at the White House, at Congress, at municipalities, we are elevating Nigeria as a policy priority. And that is bringing us into the realms of systems impact. So I'm going to go through in more detail each of these programs. Please stay with me. So the core programs of the center comes down to 4 programs, which are policy advocacy, legal aid services, asset building, language and cultural programs. So the policy, as I mentioned, is the way in which we accomplish systems impact. And we began to do so with the State of the Union on Immigration. And that program is in the 2nd year now. And we do that every year, shortly after the President's State of the Union address. And oftentimes, I'm not sure the very first or last time you heard the President mention our community in the State of the Union address. So we thought it's important that we are based in Washington, D.C., in the nation's capital, to use our access and our power of proximity to start elevating our community. So you're going to be hearing from a recap of our most recent one at Howard University that we recently concluded earlier this year.
My name is Clifton in DC, and I am a resident here in Washington, DC. I'm here today for the State of the Union on Immigration hosted by the Nigerian Center. It was a fantastic event. The Nigerian Center has done an amazing job in hosting such events and really being a resource to not just Nigerians, but Africans. Hi, my name is Tabebu Asapa. I am an African immigrant. I reside originally from Ethiopia, but I've lived in the US for the last, I don't know, long time. I've raised my children here. And today, first and foremost, I'd like to say the invitation was so powerful. The State of the Union about that got my attention. And I came all the way from Tacoma Park. And the meeting was amazing. The panelists were very powerful. The issue was very pressing and urgent. But most of all, I was really pleased to see Africans coming together.
My name is Bahia Akere, and I'm from the Law Office of Evergreen Vault, downtown Silver Spring. I had the opportunity to attend the Nigerian Center State of the Union address this evening, and it was really great. A great panel, great discussion, great questions, and really I want to salute the Center for the great work they're doing in the Washington, D.C. area. I encourage everybody to come in. Of course, as I said, it's not just for Nigerians, it is for the immigrant population in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan.
Greetings, this is DC's U.S. Representative, Dr. Oye Uwonewa. I am here at the State of the Union on Immigration, hosted by the Nigerian Center. Today we had immigration experts talk about the impact we're having on state's national issues on immigration, talk about where we fed Africans and children of African immigrants in this conversation. I was really inspired to see Banga, the panel, even the questions coming from the audience about who we are today and what power we have. I believe that the conversations we have are laying the blueprint of the next 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm really, really glad to be part of this conversation.
Okay. So why the emphasis on immigration? Immigration is the foundation for immigrants. We can begin the pathway towards financial prosperity, the American dream. I want to thank everyone once again for muting your microphone. So we cannot begin that trajectory towards prosperity or financial inclusion.
Benga, you are muted.
Okay, we can't. What about now?
You're good now.
You're fine. You're good.
We cannot begin the journey of achieving the American dream without immigration. So that is why we're very big on immigration. And when we did our needs assessment for our community, what we realized is that that is a major barrier for our community and majority of African community immigrants. So October 24, 2023, we led a coalition of over 100 organizations, and we petitioned the Biden administration to designate Nigeria with 3 important designations, TPS, DED, and SSR. Overall, our research came back with the numbers that over 125,000 Nigerians are currently undocumented. And it's a missed opportunity for both countries. It's a missed opportunity to contribute to us the continued prosperity of this country, and also to give remittances back home. We are talking about a community that is fluent in cultural competency like English language, that the average also have an advanced degree, to just have the opportunity to contribute. So we started to lead this campaign.
May was Cliff.
May of that year, we expanded with 3 congressional offices in DC, in New York, and I believe in Maryland. Congress members, Norton, Glenn Ivey, Yvette D. Clark, and several other congressional members to advocate and lead this campaign. We had the opportunity to work with many Nigerian diaspora organizations like NAPAC, like NALA, like AMPA, to have a White House meeting, a USCIS meeting, a State Department meeting, positioning our community towards this designation. And what has happened since then? So we're still on that journey of securing this designation, but what we have now accomplished is that the coalition has been able to establish a legal basis for anyone in our community that is pursuing immigration protection for humanitarian reasons. They can use the body of evidence that we've been able to establish to support their individual application, asylum application. And the same thing applies with students. Earlier this year, we pivoted towards SSR, which is Special Student Relief. And this becomes necessary when a country is going through volatility with its currency and is in high level of inflation on the country, and parents overseas cannot sustain international tuition for their children living in the United States. Congress and DHS has the power to designate that country as SSR. We are aggressively pursuing that as well. Again, while we are doing that, let communities members know they can come to Nigerian Center to get the legal basis where they can support their individual application until we have the entire country designated. So highlights a few things that has happened. As you mentioned, we've been able to advance our community on the Hill significantly. We also led a coalition particularly targeted at the Nigerian embassy to see what aspiration and what recommendations we have for turning our representation around here. The State of the Union on Immigration, Community Congress, Nigeria, US-Nigeria Policy Series. So those are a few things that we've done in the realm of policy. I'm going to move to our immigration programs at this time. The Nigerian Center Immigration Program is designed to help immigrants navigate the U.S. immigration systems, and we have a wide range of services that we provide. So a few numbers, and that number is actually more conservative. We've had more than 200 walk-ins actually walk into the center to get services since the short time that we've started. We've done 30 plus Know Your Rights workshop. We do those almost every month. And we have 20 plus in people that we've represented and provided pro bono representations for. Again, the numbers are conservative numbers. The picture you see is the entrance of the immigration clinic. That is exactly what you see once you walk in. And that is available on Thursdays, every single Thursday. We've not closed the door, exception of public holidays. And one time where there was a bomb issue on the street or explosion, we've never missed a day since 2022 that we've started giving people services that they need. And those who are not present in the DMV can also get the same services virtually. So the range of services that are provided includes family-based immigration. This includes the following immigration pathways: the 130, adjustment of status, and fiancé visa, guardianship, the work visas, EB1 to 5, employment authorizations, employment authorizations, expedite services, humanitarian-based immigration, asylum to green cards, to citizenship, student visas, we're getting a lot with F1 to EB1, EB2 employment-based visas, and general inquiry. So that's going to give you the range of coverage that are available at the Nigerian Center. And as community leaders, one thing I really want to highlight on this call is when there is no shame about it, and there's nothing to be, to keep so private about it. When your family members or people come to the United States, if they desire to pursue a new country and make the United States their home, there is no law against that. They can come to the Nigerian Center to speak to an attorney what options they have. Immediately, they come to the United States as soon as possible. So what we see is people wait till they are out of status, and at that point, it becomes very difficult to support them. We are not a for-profit law firm. We have no interest for you to work with our lawyers or engage us. We just want to provide you the resources you need. There is no commitment required to work with Nigerian Center attorneys. We gladly exist to provide folks the resources they need. So please send folks to the Nigerian Center as early as possible. And there are somewhat impossible cases that I've seen turn around at the center. We just concluded the special juvenile immigrant status, which is a pathway for those who are minors. And we see a lot of people say, my family brought me here when I was a minor. Nobody spoke to my family about my status. And now I'm an adult and I have no pathway forward. They could have just come to the center. Now they couldn't then, but now they can now come to the center to say, hey, what options are available for my family? So as I said, Know Your Rights series, representation. We have a partnership with NALA, Nigerian American Lawyers Association. They've provided significant support as well. I wanted to highlight a local church in the area, Jesus House DC, as being a financial, promotional community partner for the center. And DC, the government of Washington, DC, has been supporting the center's immigration program since the beginning, and we are now a multi-year grantee from the mayor's office of Washington, DC. Okay, so let's talk about some success stories. So you see one of our lawyers and a police officer, which is the Metropolitan Police Officer, that came in to sign immigration papers for their family. They are not even Nigerian, they are Sierra Leonean American, and they are bringing their family over from Sierra Leone, and Nigerian Center was the place they turned to help their family pursue the American dream here. So again, the center is really open to all nationalities. Our cultural programs lean heavily Nigerian, but our social services are available for everyone. Okay, I want to talk about our small business programs, and this is very important. Now, this advert you see, the actually live adverts, that is the Metro Center. We had bus adverts, metro adverts across the DMV. We've been providing micro loans, and these are loans average from like 2,500 to 3,500 to 5,000. There might be people who are actually on this call who may come during the Q&A to give their testimonials. We'll appreciate that. So if you want to build credit, so keep in mind, it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year conservatively for the average immigrant to have access to credit, because they have to have a social security number or a TIN number, and before they become eligible to be able to get their first credit card, and before that can be reported back on their credit. Now with this program, the very first day an immigrant arrives at the United States, they can receive a loan of up to $5,000 as a start at the Nigerian Center. The loan is not necessary for them to spend on expenses. The opportunity they have is, as they set up a repayment, we can now report to their credit. And in the next 3 months to 6 months, they have good credit to actually buy themselves a house, a car, and start achieving self-sufficiencies. We've been able to do about $50,000 of those loans collectively. We have our entrepreneurship speaker series, home ownership speaker series, and one important highlight of our small business I want to talk about is the IRS one. So the IRS designated Nigerian Center as a VITA program, which is community volunteer income tax assistance, where we can help people file taxes at no cost to them, as long as they are low to moderate income earners. This year we processed back to our community over $20,000 in refunds back to community. And also this includes helping folks to file for ITIN for those who are not Social Security eligible, and those who have never filed taxes before. So what we see is that a lot of people go heavy on immigration and legal, and they don't understand how important taxes is when they're trying to adjust their status. So we're using this program to solve this particular issue for them. So we are very happy about that. Okay, I want to go into our cultural programs at this point. The young lady to the right with the scarf you saw, or you see on the screen, is our Hausa language instructor. And this particular picture is at UDC. I'm going to speak more about that. The media you see on the screen is the Washington Informer did a story on Nigerian Center, and they said in the caption that African Americans forge cultural identity through the local Nigerian Center. We've been able to do about 50 students across the country, all the way from DC to California, engage in our Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba classes. What was interesting when we started the classes, I personally thought that our initial audience would be Nigerian Americans, or who are second generation Nigerian Americans. But the very first class were 100% African Americans. And the subsequent classes, we start seeing a mix of them. And now we see folks from the USAID, State Department, international law firms, international development organizations. now come to the Nigerian Center to learn our language. And we know there's a lot of curiosity with the Nigerian culture now. I'm going to thank you once again for muting your mic. I appreciate that. Give me 1 second and help this person. Okay. So we have the cultural series, documentary premieres, workshops, partnership with DCPS. So we are now, DC Public Schools, we are introducing our language into their classes as well as private schools. We are about to make a very big announcement in the next few weeks or so, but I guess this is breaking news with African Ancestry. African Ancestry is the pioneer DNA-based ancestry testing in America. They pioneered that industry and service. Before 23andMe, before Ancestry.com was African Ancestry. And they actually take you not just, they didn't just say 50% Nigerian, 20% Ethiopia. They actually take you to your tribe and your town on the continent. So now we have actually forged a partnership. We've done a pilot already, we're about to announce it. And because we're seeing a significant number of Americans with Nigerian ancestry, and there's curiosity, they want to engage more. So once your DNA results reveals that you're African American, you will get an automatic invitation to continue your cultural identity education through the Nigerian Center, starting with the language classes. I should also mention Nigerian languages are not just peculiar to Nigeria, they are international languages. A language like Hausa is spoken to close to 10 countries across the continent. So these are international languages. So these are the things that we're doing. So I'm about to show some videos. So I understand there wouldn't be sound, and I apologize for that, but I'm going to talk through what you're seeing and before you see the videos. Now, this next video you're about to see, it's a private school called the Field School. They were reading Things Fall Apart as their cultural readings, and they came to the Nigerian Center to learn more about the Nigerian culture. And I think it's important as community leaders, as we tell the Nigerian story, it is important that we are not just speaking in the language of today, but tomorrow. 2050, Nigeria is projected to be the third largest country in the world. And what it means that our language, we are empowering Americans to the next, at the very least, cultural superpower. And then we are letting them know how important Nigerian culture is, even shaping American Black identity. So we're seeing schools begin to come to the center to form partnership, and we'll be making big announcements very soon with DCPS, as well as with several private schools. But the next video is with a private school. Apologies, there's no sound, but you have an idea what happened in that visit. Okay, and I should also mention that that event also featured an NFL player, which is Nigerian American. Chris Paul was the big Black guy you saw in the video, also participating in that as well. So as a major landmark for the center is that Nigerian Center represented Nigeria at this year Passport DC. Passport DC is the largest diplomatic cultural event in the United States. It hosts about 50,000 people come across the country to Washington, D.C. That has all the embassies. And we had the opportunity to showcase Nigerian food, culture, and the services that we have at the Nigerian Center. We were on the live TV, Good Morning America show. We had, the mayor, the representative of the mayor come to the Nigerian Center stand. And Nigeria was actually I was the one that actually opened the event on a Good Morning Washington interview, WSA 9 at the event. So I'm going to show you a video that does a recap of that particular event as well. And apologies, there might be no sound. Okay, so that said, so what are our priorities for 2024? I just want to touch on these three areas. Number one is to position Nigerian Center as the go-to for everything U.S.-Nigeria. And we're relying on your support, your partnership, your collaboration to make that possible. And I think we've been filling that void, and we've been able to lay a very solid foundation. So I believe we have a model that is now ready and ripe enough to be scaled nationally and potentially even globally. In more specifics with our policy goal, currently U.S. does not have a treaty with Nigeria. They have understanding, they have MOUs, they have partnerships, but there's no official treaty that's legally binding. And what happens when U.S. enter a treaty with a nation, entrepreneurs from that nation now qualify what is called E2 treaty investor visa. So you've heard that the $1 million visa, that you have $1 million, you have a business, you get a green card, but with investor treaty visa, you can buy a small franchise of up to like $5,000 and you can get a green card. So right now, there are very few countries on the continent that has an official treaty with Nigeria. We are doing so. We are continuing to push for TPS-DED. This particular year, we are going bigger on special student relief. On August, stay tuned, you'll be receiving an update. We are doing an informational session for international students, and they don't have to wait till we get a designation. Today, every international student studying in Nigeria can write to USCIS, and we are ready to provide them the supporting document. They can reduce their course loads. They can get work authorization to work off campus, and they can even put their admission on hold if necessary without jeopardizing their F1 visa. There are tools to do that, and we're working on that. So culture, as I said, 2020, 2050, Nigeria becomes the third largest country in the world as a superpower, as a cultural superpower. So we are going big for the rest of the year on Nigerian Ancestry Series. Our theme this year is telling our story. And we're not just telling the story of who we were today, but we're telling the story that is more forward-looking in where we're going. So we are expanding our partnership, starting with the DMV area. There's a program called the Global Classroom. And the Global Classroom is allowing Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, those three languages first, to be taught in American classrooms. As you see, there's the interest, the demand is there already. So we're working with DC. We're going to pilot this in DC, and stay tuned for that announcement very soon. And that would also include a daycare opportunity, which is bilingual. So we have a whole lot of programming for that, but it's going to be called the Global Classroom. And our proposition is this: our language is not just a West African language. It is an international language. Our languages, rather, they are international languages, and they are the language of the future. We are not just speaking about the past. They are the language of the future, and this is a forward-looking country. They get it. And we want to partner with you all across the country to make that happen. So we have the Nigerian American Day. We are working very hard to do have a White House proclamation for Nigeria Independence Day, which is Nigerian American Day for us here, and also get more recognition across the country. Nigerians asset building. Nigerian Center is fast becoming a financial institution. Just think of us as a community bank. And it's a program by the Department of Treasury called CDFI, which is Community Development Financial Institution. So when that happened is we now are able to make more investments to those who need them and those who will not be able to qualify for traditional lending. We are already designated as an IRS partner. And the next one is the individual development accounts. So what that means is that the government is going to entrust some resources with us, and we can do a matching funds savings program when those want to put a down payment for a house, for a car. If you save say 4,000, and then we can either grant you 6,000 or we can loan you 6,000 at a very reduced interest-free or completely grants. All our business program is going to be rebranded as Path to Prosperity programs, Path to Prosperity series, and that would include financial, taxes, lending, and technical assistance program. So, and I want to thank you for your patience and staying with me all through this point. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Malcolm to continue the conversation.
Thank you so much, Gbenga, for that incredible overview. And, please, for all those listening, if what you heard was impressive, please just go into the chat box and let us know. I think the center has done some incredibly remarkable things. Gbenga, I really want to salute you and your team for what you've been able to do. And if you advance the slide, so where the floor is now open, I'm sure folks would have questions. But as I said in the beginning, there were three big chunks of things we're going to do today. The first one was just get everybody to understand what the center is about and what the center aims to do. The second part was to really get to learn about the concrete things the center is doing and plans to do. And, I was blown away by, even though I'm a member of the board and I've been involved, I continue to be just impressed by the incredible work that Gbenga and the team are doing. The next part is, how do we support this work? What Gbenga has talked about, the providing immigration support, providing, supporting the Path to Prosperity series, the language lessons, the cultural lessons, all these things take funds. All these things take money. And so part of what we'll be doing as the questions come and as Gbenga responds to them, or other members of the board like Dr. Okwesomi, who has been involved, from the very beginning, while that's going on, we really need your commitment. The way that the center works is the center relies on grants and it relies on donations. I'm proud to be a supporter of the center with a recurring donation. And so please, I would encourage everybody that's on this call to support the center. Please support the center. We would love you to make recurring donations. We would love you to make one-time donations. We would like for you to do it now. We would encourage you certainly to do it now. There's a link that's on this slide. We will paste that link in the chat as well. So please, folks, we really encourage you to go ahead and provide support for the center so that we can continue the incredible work, continue to support Gbenga and the team in the incredible work that they're doing. So please, if anybody has questions, so the link is in the chat now. Please go into that link, support us, make your donations, make your pledges, make it recurring is what we would certainly hope that you would do. And while that's going on, please, if anybody has questions for Gbenga and the team, you can just raise your hand and let us know. So does anybody have questions? So while we're waiting for questions, Gbenga, I have a question for you. And I've been fascinated by your drive, your incredible desire to make things happen. Many of us have been here for decades, and you heard a range that went anywhere from 2 decades to 4 decades. You've been here for just a little over a decade, and the things we wished we had when we came, and that quite frankly many of us didn't move on, you came and you moved on it. So what was your motivation? Why did you decide that this needed to be done? What's your origin story? Why did you do it? And why does this continue to be an area of passion for you?
Wow. Thank you so much. On the About Us, there's a little link there that talks about my own, journey with the immigrations at the airport and going through deportation at the Atlanta International Airport. And then I told the immigration officer that I had this goal to just build a business. And they told me that you can do so on a visitor. You have to become a permanent resident. And that was how I began my journey. And that kind of went for several years. And I began my journey in nonprofits, in marketing, in coaching, executive coaching, and all of that. And quite frankly, I was working with CDFIs and community financial institutions. And I saw that whenever there is a need with other communities like Latinos, they will turn to a community center and they'll come back with some paperwork. But African immigrants, there was nowhere for them to turn to. And I thought, wow, this is a need. So that is reason number one. But really, 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 I would say I'm just accidental actor in this whole picture. I was just minding my own business. It was December 2021. I was praying over my own business goals personally, not for Nigerian Center. And I just heard this very strong inspiration to start a Nigerian Center. And I just reached out to do it. And I reached out to a couple of people. And I was blessed to get a support system. Nobody thought that was a crazy idea. And I remember when I called the mayor's office, inviting them to the Nigerian Center lunch, the very first thing the gentleman on the other call said, they said, finally, what took your community so long? We've been waiting for a Nigerian Center, and I thought that was the reason why they went ahead and issued was to proclamation. So that was the journey for the center.
That's just remarkable. And so tell us a little bit more about the cultural programs. You indicated that, one of the things that you've seen happen when you started, you were expecting it would be second, maybe third generation Nigerians. It turned out to be mostly African Americans who jumped on that initial opportunity, and that you're now starting to see the USAID and other agencies send people. So just who are the people who work with you? Where do you get your language teachers from? What languages right now do you support? Mm-hmm. And are they paid? Are they volunteers? Are there some languages and some cultures that people have interest in? You know, everybody talks about the big three, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, but there are so many more. You know, Ijos, Ibibios, and Kanuris, and things like that. So have people come up and asked about some of those other cultures? And, you know, is there a plan to kind of expand what the center is doing in those areas as well?
Thank you so much. So in terms of, you know, the makeup of the language program, one of the things that I'm very excited the way we get in this language program right is because we decided to go big on inclusivity. So we've started from partnership with the existing cultural centers. And as you know, while we didn't have a community center, we've always had Nigerian cultural organizations and associations. They've been around for decades. You know, so with our Igbo class, we partner with two organizations, UIU and Igbo Express, or Express Igbo. So they are the one teaching the class. For our Hausa program, there are two Hausa organizations. One is called Dengi, and the other one is called Zamunta. And through that was where we source our instructors from. Our Yoruba program, interestingly, is actually led through the NIDO network. So these are organizations who are sending us instructors to do the classes. The classes are paid. They're about $99 for early bird and $119 for late registrations for 10 to 12 weeks class. So it's still a pro bono. It's just a little, you know, money people put to it, and that helps to take care of the volunteer hours that the instructor, you know, puts into it. And our goal, as I've mentioned, is to start to expand these programs into, you know, United States school curriculum. In terms of demand, we actually getting more interest and inquiry with other languages. But at this time, we just want to focus on the big three for now. And we are making demand. We are collating the request, and when it reaches a particular number, we'll go ahead and launch that class. So those are the numbers. Those are the three programs that we are launching right now. And one thing I also wanted to say about our culture is more than ever before, you know, Afrobeats, you know, kind of led the way. The curiosity and interest with our culture is unparalleled. You know, there's a lot of yearning about our culture, and Nigerians can be unfairly harsh on ourselves, and we just kind of amplify the reaction of a few people. I think the demand for our culture is, at this moment, it's nothing we can compare to it in the past. And I think this is actually one of the bigger frontier for the Nigerian Center, because a generation is going to come that will not need our current social services that we have, that we currently do to the degree we need them now. So if you think about the Jewish generation, where would a Jewish person go to an immigration clinic? You know, so a generation is going to phase out, you know, this social services, and now our culture would be what we truly have to share with the world. And I think we are laying that foundation now and trying to meet both. And with more emphasis on the culture, we can actually turn things around. And lastly, I want to say that there's a significant Nigerian American community here. And I think the cultural connection for them is also as high as the same as non-Nigerian ancestry or parents. So we have a big community that we can actually take our language and our culture, and there's a yearning. For those who came to the Passport DC, people were praying for us at that event, that thank you for representing our country at this platform and doing justice to this. So I think that's a few things I will respond to the question about language.
Awesome. No, that's great. There no
Dr. Malcolm.
Yes, please
continue. What Benga didn't say is that the Passport Day was put together in less than 2 weeks. We had 2 weeks and an amazing job was done. This center shows up all the time for whatever is needed.
Absolutely, and thanks, Dr. O, for that perspective. So again, it's one of the things that I say just makes me really amazed by the work that Gbenga is doing, the way the center continues to basically step in to close gaps that, quite frankly, without the center, we would not have been able to close. Dr. O, there are a number of things the center has stepped in to help do and support as well that Gbenga didn't even touch on. Helping people, individuals that have issues and problems that are way beyond the remit of the center. So I would spare Gbenga because he's a very modest, is an overly modest person. So please, do you want to tell us just a few things you know that Gbenga and the center have stepped in to help with in different areas, from supporting people with challenges of a medical kind and not knowing where next they're going to just helping ensure that some of our brothers that basically have some significant challenges about being able to leave the US if they want to, and things like that. The center has done many things. Please provide us with some perspective on some of these other things the center is doing. And while Dr. O is doing that, Monique Diop, please get ready to come on. I think you have a question or a comment. And then Tolani, I see that there was also
actually we have some hands raised.
Oh, some hands raised. Okay.
I've responded to every one of them, Monique and all of them on the platform. So everybody I've responded to. If you want to give your contact, you can private chat me, you can private chat Gbenga. Same thing. You will be contacted, but the hands raised, if they want to talk, they can raise their hands if they have anything.
Super. All right, so we'll go with the hands that are raised then, but you give us those perspectives and then we'll go to the hands that have already been raised. And while all that is going on, please support the center. We're going to drop that link again to how you can support us. You can support with a recurring donation. You can make a one-time donation. Please go ahead and just do it. This work is great, the work that Gbenga and the team are doing, and we encourage everyone to support it. It's great work, but again, anytime we find great work being done, it means there are people behind the scenes that are making it happen. And we really invite everybody that's on the call today to be part of this process of helping to make sure that this center continues to thrive. Dr. O, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to chime in that, yes, we are making recurring donations. We need the money. So all hands on deck, please. I know of people who have actually been given deportation papers, basically asked to go back. And the Nigerian Center steps in, do whatever needs to be done. Sometimes reach out to, our elected officials to assist, because these people are taxpayers. They're hardworking people. They're not criminals. And so the next thing we see, they are approved, they're given their green card to stay. The center has done that. And remember, as Gbenga presented, in case you missed it, if you go to the DC center physically on Thursdays, you actually get to see our amazing, and I repeat, amazing immigration lawyer who God has just given the, wisdom to be able to tackle even what you may think is the worst case scenario. She somehow figures out, okay, you can do this, you can do that. And on Thursdays, it's free. If you want to see the lawyers virtually, thanks to NALA, Nigerian American Lawyers Association, they also give of their time. I think the cost is $50 virtually. Benga, is it $50 if somebody is seeing the lawyer virtually?
55.
$55. Thank you. So recently, also, we had an issue with a homeless Nigerian guy who has been homeless for 10 years and was bordering our Nigerian embassy. I mean, just giving them a hassle. The embassy is not there to get people home or anything like that. That's not their job to do. So thank God for collaboration. The Nigerian Center was able to raise funds to get this guy, buy tickets. The Nigerian Embassy, talk of collaboration and talk of working synergistically. They provided the travel documents, freshen him up, did everything that needed to be done. And by the grace of God, we got him home. And we didn't stop there. We followed up to make sure that he was in safe hands. He was, directly handed to his family members. And we even put money in his pocket, so that he doesn't go home empty-handed. What about, I know people first personally, and I know some even on this platform that have gotten loans from the program that Nigerian Center has so that they can utilize it to do something urgently or to build credit or what have you. The list goes on.
Thank you so much. And again, it just goes to speak to the necessity for the center, the real needs that the center is meeting. And again, I would encourage everybody to be part of what the center is doing. So we'll go to the raised hands. So Surura Abdurazak, please, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, I'm super excited. Good evening, everyone. Uncles and aunties, allow me to be Nigerian like that. I'm a second year master's student at UMD. I am also a new mom. Say hi to grandfathers and grandmothers.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I am very excited. I have heard about the Nigerian Center, but I just didn't know how to be a part of this. It's I just really want to thank you, all of you, for the work that you're doing. I really want to thank Uncle Benga because I can only imagine how much work it would take. Now keep quiet, they heard you already. How much work it would take to be a trailblazer in a situation like this. We just really cannot thank you enough. If at any point you thought, well, let me just wait. I mean, if you were waiting for a perfect time, it probably would still be a conceived idea. I'm just so excited. I already sent messages to the Nigerian WhatsApp groups like, hey, you guys, I found Family House. This is their contacts. Now we can go to DC and stuff like that. I'm just really excited. And I just want to say, God bless you. I don't know what else to say because I have needed this community for oh my God, for the longest time. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. And I also wanted to ask, we are students, right? For example, I have a baby. I don't have as much time commitment, and I might not have as much money as, for example, Mr. Fabiyi, who has been here probably before I was born. So is there any other way that we could volunteer? Trust me, I can make noise, I can shout and tell everybody, just how do the younger generation get super involved in this? Again, thank you so much. And I'm super excited. I work in DC, so I'm just going to pop up. Keep quiet. I'm just going to pop up at the office one of these days to say, hey, this is Surura. I'm just excited. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the excitement. It's, it came across. So you'll be receiving the link in the chat box for our volunteer opportunities. We have a long list of positions that we need volunteers for, and I'll go through some of them. Our language classes, we need native speakers to do teaching assistants for Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba classes. For our taxes program, if you want to become a tax preparer, we actually have an IRS certified program. So you can be certified at the Nigerian Center to prepare taxes. And you can also work on an immigration clinic as an intake specialist. You can also work on a loan program to provide support as an intake specialist as well for those who do the small business programs. Our policy programs always need interns, volunteer opportunities. So go through nigeriancenter.org/serve. You will see the list of current volunteer opportunities. And I also wanted to use this to just touch slightly on for those who are also considering financially who might not be able to help do what they think they can do. When we say you should financially support, we're not waiting. We're not saying you should wait till you can do $100 or $1,000 or so. Honestly, whatever amount you can, even if it's $5 to support the center, it's a good place to start. Even if it's $1, it's a good place to start. For those who may not be able to do so, again, there are opportunities to actually serve in person. But just want to welcome everyone to participate at this. Those who support an organization, it takes a little drop of your commitment, of that person's commitments to keep the lights on. The entire staff at the center are volunteers, and your commitment, your support is what keeps us on. So you will see the link is going to come to the chat box again. It is nigeriancenter.org/serve.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Benga, and thanks, Surura, for that question. So we'll go now to Keve, AJ. AJ, the floor is yours. Is AJ?
Yes, sorry. Evening, everybody. I'm stuffing my face here. Let me see if I can come on video quick. So you can put face to the name.
That's always good.
Okay, wait, because I'm looking crazy in the house here, so I need to tie my hair for you people.
Yeah, I was going to get your behind because of what you wrote. You know, I knew you were joking, but I said, okay.
Don't beat me, please. Evening.
I said, let me get you.
Yeah, so
tell me what is terrible.
No, everything was perfect. I just wanted to
know. I knew you were joking.
Afternoon, evening. I think we're all in DC, so evening. I'm Ogene Keve. I'm Ajuleshi. So I'm actually first generation. I'm not directly born from home. Both of my parents came maybe around the same time you did, Dr. O. But because of the gap, I made it my priority to make sure I was still connected, thus the pidgin and my accent and clothing and cooking and food and everything, doing what I can to make sure. So, because I have a baby now, to make sure when she's here, he or she, or whichever how many more come, that I can continue passing down when my parents are gone, because I don't know about you people's tribe, but us the Rebel people, we have issue with cultural preservation. So many of us are not speaking the language anymore. So the language classes you guys are doing are actually the first thing that caught my attention, like, okay, this is like, they're moving, and then seeing all the work you guys have been doing. So I'm like, okay, this is the people I need to get involved with. And then dance has always been an easy way for me to pull outside people in that have been interested. Because as you know, right now the music is popular, so it's an easy way to grab people who want to learn more about our culture, at least get them in the door, then get them to assist with what they can, donation policy and stuff like that. So I've been successful with doing that. Like our own people, I do traditional dance for them for weddings or whatever church events or something like that. And then for African Americans or something, we do like mixed classes. Sometimes we mix modern music, some techno and everything, but then we put some Willow in there and we teach them about what, before Afrobeat was popular, why it's important to us, why we dance. It's not just about shaking ash and stuff. Like, there's certain occasions that, we have to let them know what's going on. You can't wear gele everywhere. it's not fashion statement. Like you have to put some respect on these things, you know. So this telling them, bringing them inside a little bit so they can know they've been enjoying it. So that's why I said, well, let me talk to them and see if this is something they would be interested in, that I can bring our group to see how we can reach more people and ultimately, you know, help us out. So that's my own. During the day, as I jumped in the chat, I'm a data analyst for Optum Health. And then I have a part-time job with this agency called the National Blueberry Council, working with their production and retail data. So anything I can do, let me know. Very excited to be here. Everyone has said thank you a million times. So 1,000,001 thank you.
Awesome. No, that's great. And I'm really excited by the fact that it's Urobo. It's not one of the big three, but it's a big one. That's where the gaps are. So
yes,
that's going to be awesome. Benga, I'm sure you have a response.
Yes.
For AJ.
And thank you, Ms. AJ. And the first thing I want to speak on behalf of the center, our apologies if your language is not one of the big threes. So our apologies for that. It's just data driven.
Of course, I know. That's what I tell our own people, because it's like we're hypocritical. They say, "Oh, how come many people aren't speaking Yoruba?" I'm like, "You're not teaching us, and it's not a international. It's not like as broadcasted as Yoruba and stuff. Like you see all the apps and the books, the publications. There's nothing Yoruba that's really written down. So there's big issue with that. Even I can't even speak much. I can hear more than I can speak. So that's the biggest gap for me, to try to pass stuff down. So that's why I'm really focusing on the other cultural side, because I can't speak Yoruba.
And remember to send your number, like I wrote. Remember to send your phone number.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
And Ms. AJ, we interest you that at the Passport DC, there was a big Yoruba presentation.
Huh?
Yeah, and folks actually came from New York. I think there's a big community.
There's a big chapter. So convention is next month.
Yeah,
and a group of us actually going.
Yeah, they actually did a big performance.
Was that in the video that I saw? Because I saw right in the video.
Exactly, yeah.
I was like,
yeah, exactly. So that was represented. So please reach out to the center.
Okay.
info@nigeriancenter.org. Pitch us opportunities for you to and happy if you can help us send the email info@nigeriancenter.org. Reach out to us for opportunities outside of the ones listed on the volunteer page to get.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll keep moving on. So Gabriel, you're next.
By the way, Gabriel is one of our candidates who is presently also running for an office. So please, everyone in Prince George's County, activate your people. Let's do it this time. It just ran and it's running again. Go ahead.
And 1 second, Mr. Gabriel, before you proceed, I just want us to give a round of applause to Miss Suruya. She put a mighty widow's mite in that donation box. She's a student, she's a mom, and she responded to my pushback when I said, you don't have to discount yourself from this opportunity. You can start today. So please, let's give a virtual round of applause, to Ms. Suruya for just stepping up to the plate.
Wow.
Thank you, Suruya. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm actually laughing out loud about you.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right. So Gabriel.
Good afternoon. Let me thank you, Dr. O, for that announcement. But let me say that I started off by putting a small donation also of $25. That is just the beginning of me, doing what I'm planning on doing. I'll use this moment to tell you a very short story of how impactful this center is and is going to be. A couple of years back, my landlord insisted that I talk to his son. And for the life of me, I could never understand why he insisted that I speak to this guy. His son is a millionaire. It turns out his son owns this company that's called Legal Shield. Anybody knows what's Legal Shield? So Legal Shield is that has over 900 legal offices in the entire country, wherein they make you pay a fee. I think it's $35 a month, and recurring fee. And if you have any kind of legal issue, any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can call them. So when I found out that this is what these folks were doing, and I'm thinking, when is someone from Africa going to come up with this idea? And I heard Mr. Gwenga said something about, oh, if you just come into the country and you have legal issues or immigration issues, come there right now, don't wait. That is the legal shield. This is an African legal shield. And I'm hoping, and I'm going to play a big part of this to promote this center by saying that if it means that we have to register at the center as members, such that if I have any issues, I should just pick up my phone and call the legal center, so be it. So I don't have to worry about calling Jews and giving all the monies to the Jewish lawyers and all of that. So this is very, very big. This is huge. So instead of me paying my $35 a month to Legal Shield, I'd rather send it to the center so that it can carry on the mission to the moon, if possible. I saw the flyer on the WhatsApp status of one of my friends, Eze, and as it was says, it's a Nigerian event. But I said, you know what? I'm from Cameroon. The boundary between Cameroon and Nigeria actually needs to be raised because we are so close. We are neighbors. We're brothers. We're sisters, and all. So I am going to keep donating. I started off with $25 in ActBlue, and I am going to push this the furthest I can. Our population in Maryland is huge. And I knew this, or I know this because I ran for Congress the last time. I decided to do some research. I'm going to use Prince George's County alone, where we are, with a concentration of Nigerians, Cameroonians, or Africans in general, where there's more than 70,000 Africans in Prince George's County. And this is from a George Mason study that was done in 2019. More than 70,000, and 33% of that population is Nigeria. So it's time we are realizing the impact of being African in Maryland, in the DC area, in America as a whole, by doing things like this. Because we do matter. We do matter, and that's one of the reasons why I am injecting myself into politics, so that we too can have a voice on the table when it comes to certain things that is being talked about us behind our back. So kudos to this mission. I'm going to be an ambassador, even though I'm not from Nigeria, but I'm going to be an ambassador to this at every level you can think of as time goes on. So thank you so much. And by the way, the election...
Councilman, you are quarter Nigerian. We have adopted all Cameroonians and Liberians. So for your notice.
Okay. And
all right. Yeah, you were going to tell us something about when okay, go on.
Yeah, just going to round it up by saying that, it's essential that we go out and vote. Somebody made a mockery that we Africans can never win an election because, we're not born here and because our last names are complicated. I don't think that's the case. The election starts on July 31st and ends on August 6th. We in these races. We have the numbers. And you will get the ballots in the mail. All you need to do is fill it in and send it back. You don't have to go to the polls. Our numbers is such that from every city in Maryland, we can have Africans as council members, mayors, city council, county council, the Congress, and the Senate. We can do this, but it has to start from centers like the Nigerian Center, and we all should fall behind it and make this a great success. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Gabriel.
Thank you for sticking your neck out for us all the time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Gabriel. So we'll move to Lillian, please.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, and I just want to say congratulations to the Nigerian Center. A very impressive report. I put a link in the chat just because I think Benga is the kind of person and the board or the community behind the Nigerian Center is the kind of group that can make that happen. So I used to work at that organization, N Street Village. I've done a lot of work with nonprofit backgrounds, and we have annual events that are big fundraisers. If you can see, the N Street Village event this year brought in $2 million. I don't think that, Nigerian Center will have ways to go to bring in 2 million, but I wanted to sow that seed of saying, we need these incomes from, recurring givings as well. But think about a big annual event that you can have that can be a crowd puller and that will bring in the majority of or a significant amount of money for the group. I think that will be very helpful. Before I go, I'd just like to say great accolades to my student union president, Dr. Fabiyi.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Great. That's how we respond.
Yes, and well done. Thank you all for all you do.
Thank you. And so we will follow up with you on that idea. So you have been co-opted as a volunteer to help us think through that.
No, Dr. Malcolm, no, Dr. Lillian, you will champion this. You will champion this. You know how to do this. You've done it. It's what you've done. You're going to lead us in doing this. So I'm volunteering you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Okay, so we will go to Monique. Monique, are you on?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Okay.
Everybody.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Monique Joe, and I live in Washington, D.C. I have been a commissioner for 4 terms. So I'm a community advocate, a community advisory, and I just currently I work in the DC Council. So I do a lot of work with not just Nigerians, but other Africans in the community. And so I just basically wanted to know if you guys had any type of collaborative ideals that you might have or share when it comes to the African American community. I know that we don't share the same history, but we can learn from each other and learn from each other's traditions. And I just wanted to know if you guys had any thoughts on that and how we could work together in our community, especially politically.
Thank you, Monique. Good to see you here. And I'll be happy to answer that question. So we are already working doing bridge building between both communities, as I mentioned earlier, through our cultural programs. And so we're advancing that. I spoke about an upcoming announcement they were making with African ancestry, that now when you get your result from African ancestry, you can go to Nigerian Center to get cultural classes from Nigeria, for you to forge that cultural identity. And as you also, I don't know if you've been on the call since then, there's a local newspaper, Washington Informer, did a spotlight on the Nigerian Center, the role the center is playing in helping African Americans to forge cultural identity in the Nigerian history and heritage. So I think we're already doing just that, and we hope to do more. Speaking about politically, though, and we're working with your office and your other offices. DC just passed a legislation that allows non-citizens to vote. And that also exists in several states, in some counties in Maryland, in New York, in California, in Chicago, in several states now has non-citizen voting, not in federal election, please, but in local elections. So September, I want to get the dates wrong, 18th or 28th, we are doing a voter registration and election drive with DC Elections Board's office, and we'll be sending an announcement for that very soon. So what we'd love to do with your office is to have current elected members from the African American communities come speak to our community who are now eligible to vote and advance civic participation. I think that's an unparalleled opportunity that we didn't have before, that we can now also have. I just want to speak on those two pathways that we are currently advancing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monique. Did you have any follow-ons, or that's your questions answered?
No, no, I didn't have any follow-ups, but just to answer Benga's request, I definitely think that that's a great idea, and I don't see why we cannot start doing something like that and gathering people to see who can come down and speak to the Nigerian Center. And especially when it comes to getting voters registered, this is a perfect opportunity for that. Have some speakers come there, people come in, and we can have like a little event around that. So let's speak about that later on, but thank you so much. And I also want to give a shout out to my Yoruba class. Thank you so much. It's been so much fun trying to learn Yoruba. I had to get a tutor, but I'm on my way.
Amazing.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Great hearing from you. So we had, we'd initially built this to end at about 8:30, but we have three hands that are up. We'll cover the three people with their hands up, and then we'll plan to end once that last person is covered. But please, continue to make your indications of support. I've looking through the chat, the number of people that are again coming in to support in terms of the with ideas, with volunteering opportunities. Please just keep sending your contact details so that we would find ways of being able to follow up with you once this is done. And we'll also post again the email, the info@email address, so that you can send, just send us an email, shoot an email with your contact details to that as well. So we will go to Madam Lara. Please, Madam Lara, the floor is yours.
Hello, Dr. Fabiyi. Good to see you again, or hear from you again. Yes, I know that, and Benga, good job. This is not a political platform. Nevertheless, I want to respond quickly to the councilman to be. So please pardon me. We have knocked that meat out of the bottom. That because we have accent, we can. Nigerians, NAPAC, Nigerian American Public Affairs Committee, have supported more than 26 Nigerians to win their election, with names like Oye Owolewa, Junior Ezeonu, Gabe Okoye, Esther Agbaje, and other complicated names. Karo Kazim. So your forging a relationship with Dr. O is like spot on. You can't go wrong. We also collaborated under another platform called One Voice, in which we worked with people who are non-Nigerians, the Cameroonians, Liberians, Haitians, and other people. So we got you, we got your back. So don't worry about your accent. Let them try to translate your accent. We've been doing this, so it's not anything new, and we've been successful at doing it. And I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I think
Dr. Ronke Ogunleye, all the way from California, kindly unmute. Dr. O from California. There you go.
Hello, everyone.
Other person that can be a Dr. O.
Hello, everyone. So I just made a small donation to the center. I think this is my second one, actually. And I wanted to say that this has been a long time coming. And it came at this very auspicious time, especially when we really need to come together collectively to fight our battles together. I remember when I first came to this country in 1998, joined the military the very following year. And I had a bit of a problem with some sort of discrimination. And somebody advised my husband to call on our Senate rep then. I think it was Maxine Waters back then. And she immediately wrote the Joint Chief of Staff. And before we knew it, the problem was resolved. I was in South Carolina at that time. Now, what if she had not responded? See, when we try to fight our battles singly, we might not get any response. We might get nowhere. But when we come together collectively, they cannot ignore us. Our voice is louder when we do it collectively. So I want to thank Mr. Ogunjimi, Dr. O, Mr. Fabiyi, everybody that's been instrumental in starting this Nigerian Center. You guys don't know what you have done for us. The APAC, the Jews know what APAC is doing for them. You know, the Hispanic organizations, they know what their people are doing for them. Now, Nigerians are about to find out that we have power as well here, not just political power, but legal power. So thank you very much. I applaud you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ronke, and thank you for your donations and continued support.
Absolutely. Thank you. The last hand that we're going to take is from Adeyemi Arogundade. And then once we're done with that comment, Gbenga, you would provide closing remarks and we will call it a day. So Adeyemi, please, the floor is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
That's my name, Adeyemi Arogundade. I've been listening to...
Papa, welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma.
Papa, Ekalisa.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, sir. I've been listening to everything that, most of what you have said today, because I couldn't get myself into the, through the Zoom until I got one of my granddaughters to come and put me through. And by that time, it was 30 minutes into the program. But I listened to most of what was said since then. And I'm very much impressed by what you are doing. I count myself lucky when I take part in a discussion with in whatever Dr. O is involved. I think she's caught for everybody. The work she's doing, I wonder what I talked about it today, that I don't know what time he gets home to sleep. And now she's here. She's always involved in one good thing or the other. And I find myself lucky to be associated with whatever she has hand in. As she called me, Papa, I'm an old man, not tired, but not mobile. There's little or nothing I can do because I'm more or less an alien here, though I have the passport, but still my mobility is limited. If there's anything I can do, which will require people of my age or a little less than my age, I will be glad to do. So God will continue to bless your involvement, humanitarian job, and you make a success of it. You are creating avenue for your tomorrow, not only tomorrow on this planet Earth, but tomorrow in the beyond. And may God continue to help you. One year I see, I don't want to speak Yoruba.
You can please do, sir, and then you can interpret as well. I think it enriches the conversation. Please do, sir.
Wọ́n ní àìsí ń bẹ̀ ni àìbá wọn dá sí. Ó fún mi kò tó olè kò fún mi rárá ahun. And that is what that is the proverb that goes with the widow's mite. As little as it was from the bottom of her heart that she gave that token. So I'm going to give a token of only 50K. Sorry, I'm not in Nigeria. Don't mind me. I'm always thinking of home because of the situation there. I give a token of $50, which I'll promise to do every month. I make a standing order, and that will come, at least it will buy biro for the office. Thank you very much, Dr. Fabiyi, Dr. O, and others that I don't remember their names.
Wow.
God will be with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate you, sir. He's my real uncle. We didn't meet here. That's my, and we just celebrated his 90th. He's serious about volunteering.
Wow.
He would do, you know, if you can get him there, he will do it. It's amazing. Always amazing to us.
We thank you so much, sir. You are certainly an inspiration.
Thank you so much, sir.
We appreciate you.
Wow.
We appreciate you greatly.
To
So
volunteer well, if there's a way.
yes, no, we'll find, even if it means with all these cultural programs we're running, even if it means we do something virtually that involves where we can get Papa on the line, we'll find a way to make it happen. We will take you up on that, sir.
He's a writer and a wealth of knowledge. Culturally,
absolutely.
he can do our culture way back front.
So thank you so much, sir. We are inspired by you. Thank you for the words, you know, the words of support and inspiration that you gave to us. And I think it is only fitting that we should end with Papa's words. So we want to thank everybody again for the time you've taken. It's Sunday. You could have been doing anything, but you know, you guys are here listening to the work the center is doing, supporting us in every way possible. For those who made donations in kind, in money, in support, in promises to continue to propagate the work of the center, in collaboration opportunities that you have suggested we can work on, you know, we're really grateful for all of that. So I will pass it on to our executive director, the person who took the vision and ran with it and created this center and has been the driving force of everything that has happened so far. Benga, I want to call you back to just round up with you know, some closing remarks, and then we'll close the meeting for today.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Malcolm, Dr. Wen, everyone. I just want to shout it and read some names, and my apologies in advance if you intend to make your donations anonymous. I won't be talking about the value. I just want to recognize the names of the donations that we have received on this call, starting with our daddy, Papa Adeyemi Arugundade, Dr. Aderemi Olodun, Miss
Olodun.
Okay.
That's my cousin.
I see. Miss Oluronke Ogunleye, Lillian Agbayegbe, Monique Diop, Suraya Abdulaziz, Ogene AJ, Matthias Ofong, Madam Omolara Okunubi. So every single one of you, we thank you exceedingly much. And I know some are still coming. These are the ones that we've been able to track at this moment. We thank you exceedingly, exceedingly much. What else can we say? Just to say thank you all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, so the one that says Matthias is from Gabriel.
Ah, I see. Thank you,
Yeah.
Congressman, our future Congressman Gabriel. Thank you.
And please, I would like to volunteer in any way you guys want me to.
Okay.
Super.
Excellent.
We will take up all the volunteer offerings. We will certainly take everybody up on that. We can never have too many volunteers. So I think with that, we're done. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night and have a wonderful upcoming week. And take care. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Great job. Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Bimbo from London. You
Wow.
still.
Yeah, well done,
Wow.
sis.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Share everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Amen.
We appreciate. Bye. Wow. All the way from London. She's up. Good night, everyone.
Dr. O,